Hey everyone, this is Nick LaRue, and this is Film Snobbery Live. We have a fantastic episode for you this week. We have a lot of things going on here in Film Snobbery Land. There's so much to talk about because obviously Sundance just ended, and I've got more book news and more tour news, and we have a whole bunch of other stuff happening. So it's a packed show. Plus, we have a guest. This week's guest is going to be Mr. Calvin Vanderbeek. He's a producer. We are going to show you a trailer for his latest short, The OSSAN. We're going to show that to you shortly, and then when we come back from that, we will speak with Calvin himself. That said, I guess I'll give you some of the info up front. I'll give you some of the looks like the film festival push for behind the scenes of indie film marketing is started. So I am going to be down at the South Georgia International Film Festival in the beginning of March. I'm also going to be on their jury, so get to know me. No, it's going to be fantastic. So we're going to be there, and then shortly after that, in April, we're going to be at the Jacksonville Film Festival again, down in Jacksonville, Florida. That was a great festival that I went to last year, and there were so many things on their end and my end that were conspiring against us, but it really was a very positive experience. So I'm really looking forward to going again. And then so many other festivals starting to kind of materialize, but I don't want to make any announcements until they kind of are confirmed. But I will say that there's a good possibility some of my international fans, some of the fans of Film Snobbery over in across the pond, so to speak, will get to a chance to possibly see us in person and hang out with us and get their books signed by me personally. And if that's the case, I think that will be fantastic. So stick around, and we'll be right back. I'm going to show you the trailer for The OSSAN, and when we come back from that, again, we'll be speaking with Mr. Calvin Vanderbeek. Stay tuned.
No way! Oh my God.
I know I gave you some idea about what to expect, but it's a little worse than I let on, and I'm embarrassed. I'm so sorry. I think you can see this is hopeless.
You came to me with a problem. The problem has been solved.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, he might look like he's on a webcam from the 1990s, but I assure you, we are in the present time. You are not, don't check your eyes, you're fine. Everyone, Mr. Calvin Vanderbeek is on the show. How are you, sir?
Hey, how are you? Hey, on the trailer, I didn't get sound on my end.
You didn't get sound on your end. I got sound. I did. I can confirm. I did see sound. But I
Okay.
will double check.
Yeah, I was checking.
I will double check for the edit, definitely.
Okay.
But yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, how is everything going?
Um, I saw my day job. I'm sure every indie filmmaker does, and trying to balance that between what we got going on. Some days are better than the others.
Yeah, has your day job ever come in handy for your filmmaking job?
Of course, it's the same job.
There you go.
Well, no, a project manager is a producer. That's what you do. So
Awesome.
it was an easy role for me to
So
switch over.
you are if I if your IMDb is to be believed, you've got your hands in a lot of different pies in the independent film world right now. You actually you were one of the producers on Moon, which was a short that we just reviewed
Yes.
not too
Well,
long ago.
in I was a producer in Money Only.
I figured
I
as
had no
much, but
creative
still.
control or anything. Toy Lee, who wrote it, directed it. I told her, hey, I got a little extra cheese from the government. You can have it.
I will tell you, you're putting your money in the right place because I really enjoyed that movie. So
Oh, that was a huge production for a short film.
Yeah, I saw some of the behind the scenes stuff for that. You know, they
Oh,
went full
okay. Yeah,
green
yeah,
screen and
yeah. That
everything.
was
Yeah.
Major League. I never made it out to set, but I saw pictures. It was Major League.
And then, of course, yeah, the OSSAN. So I had a chance to watch that a little while ago and review it.
You wrote a review on it.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that it is. I'm glad to see that it's getting out there in the festivals. How is the festival world treating you?
Oh, it's really good. Okay, we to trace back a little bit, we premiered at Dances with Films
Yep.
in June, I believe. And it was the first time, because I don't know if you've figured out by watching it, we shot this with anamorphic lenses,
Hmm.
which changes aspect ratio and everything else. Well, I don't know. I seen it over 100 times during the process. Never saw it projected. Okay, the biggest I saw it was on a 55-inch TV,
Hmm.
and so when we premiered there, I was actually blown away. I got misty over the whole thing. It was beautiful,
Yeah. It's a good looking.
and
It's a great looking film, and and I also really enjoyed. I like the soundtrack. I mean, I like a lot of things about it, but I like those two things very specifically.
yeah,
Stand out.
yeah, we were quite pleased. But so anyhow, so we were premiered there, and then we went to Catalina, and we opened up the big theater Friday night on the island, and had a couple minor technical glitches, but we got through that. And on the same weekend, we were up at Gig Harbor. And so we were playing. I think they slotted us twice. So I'm not sure on
Mhm.
that one.
I was just talking to them actually. How was that festival?
Oh, it's a great festival.
Yeah, that's
Fun,
what I
great
hear.
town. Oh, it was fun. We went last year. I went with Who Wants Dessert last year. Had the blast.
Oh, that's
Had
cool.
a flippin' blast.
Yeah, I was talking with Brad Johnson, who was on the show a few episodes ago. Is another filmmaker. He's for those who are online, you'll probably know who he is. The creator of the Gray List.
Oh yeah.
Yep, he actually recommended. He's like, you should reach out to them because I'm going around and doing stuff with the book, and he's like he had a very positive thing to say, very positive to say about that. So it's great to hear that that's confirmed. So multiple sources, right? That's what you always look
Well,
for. Is
well, not only that, one of their big donors behind that festival, he's got a mansion out on Puget Sound, and there's a invite only party there
oh,
to die for.
nice.
It is just beautiful, just looking out and everything.
I think that's
We,
something that a lot of like the civilians and the that are not independent filmmakers or aren't people who travel to these festivals don't really understand is like you get to go to some really cool places when you go to some of these festivals. I remember going to Napa Valley and we went to the Mondavi Estates for
oh
a
yeah.
for a thing. We went to I think we went to the French Laundry once. I think we went.
Oh, really? That's a hard reservation to get.
Right, and
That's
then
6 months.
I had a couple invite me to, like, they had their own wine cave where they had a screening room in the wine cave to go watch their movie. So many really cool things that you get to do when you get to and obviously just the idea of like being able to travel is always good. It's one of the perks of the thing. Like, it costs a lot of money to be in this industry because you're
Yes,
always
it does.
financing something. But like occasionally you get these little life experiences that kind of really make it completely worth it.
Oh, and we took Who Wants Dessert out to Santa Fe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, had a blast.
Oh, that's fantastic.
They had three different screening areas, and but there was a after party every night, and I mean they treated us like royalty.
I love that.
I mean, it was so much fun, and we had it was an awards luncheon, and oh my God, top shelf Southwest cuisine that you went back to seconds for. Oh my God, it was so good. There was stuff that I ate that I never had before, and I had no idea what it was, but it was good.
Yeah, I went to I was talking on some panels at Fan Expo Boston, and this is my own neck of the woods recently, and and my buddy I was really tired afterwards. We were gonna go out that night, and he goes, "What?" I'm like, I might go home. I'm tired." He's like, my buddy says, "Oh, here's my hotel key card. Like, you can go take a nap in my hotel room, and then when I'm done, I'll come get you, and we'll go out for the night." And I'm like, "Okay." As I'm walking out of the place, the convention center, I go and I'm like, I'm hungry, so I'm like, I'm just gonna stop off at a restaurant, like in the hotel. Like every hotel's got like the little hotel bar or restaurant or something like that attached.
Yep.
I thought I was gonna go in and just get like something to go. It turned out to be this like Brazilian steakhouse style kind of thing where
Oh, wow.
it was like all you can eat, and I spent the majority of the time that I should have been sleeping eating this
Oh, yeah, you can't give that up.
awesomely delicious food, and I
Yeah.
never would have known about it had my I not been at that that convention and hanging out there and promoting stuff and all that and on the panels and whatnot, and then saying yes to another experience later. And I think that that's really important. I think in when you live this life, whether it's from my perspective or from yours, as a producer, taking on projects and then taking them around, to promote them and stuff, it's, saying yes to a lot of those experiences, I think
Well, the other thing that I really enjoy is I get to see everybody else's work.
yeah.
I can go, okay, who wrote that? Who directed that? Who lit that? Who is that actress? You know what I mean? And I don't know. We all know each other because it seems when we have a project, the same films go out on tour with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, coming up in 3 weeks, Austin Revolution. Well, I would bet you, I don't know, I know 40% of the people that are going to be there from Nightmares because that was a killer festival. In fact, I can hook you up with those guys. That would be a good one to cover.
Yeah.
And no, but we met these talented people and we're asking each other a question. How did you do that? How did you do that? Why did you choose this instead of that? Good question. Yeah. Never thought of it.
The filmmaker grapevine is always fantastic, not only for like tips and tricks on movies and stuff like that, like how did you do that, or hey, how much did it cost to like to get that effect or something like that, or obviously also to meet like the actors and the actresses to maybe work with them on future projects and stuff like that, but also like comparing notes on things like distributors or other people like that in the industry. That's how
we don't really go that far because that is what our ultimate goal is.
Yeah,
we're just looking at other people's art.
Yeah. Well, and that's good. I mean, yeah, it's funny. Doing what I do, I don't get to spend as much. It's weird. Like I spend more time watching movies at home to review and stuff like that than I do at festivals because I'm usually outside interviewing people for all day long, or I'm working with the festival on something, or I'm on a panel or something like that. So I don't actually end up in an actual movie theater that often at a festival. Usually like opening night, closing night, if I don't get stuck on a red carpet of some sort or something, but like that's usually about it. Do you would you say, I mean, obviously you just kind of said like you're there to kind of like watch stuff and take it in and all that, but do you ever go to these different festivals and go like, okay, you have other agendas while you're there of like, okay, so this movie's going to play there, I would love to talk with this actress because you've seen her in other stuff, or seen him in other stuff, and you're like, I want to talk to them to get to know them to maybe bring them on something else?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will see somebody play a role and sometimes 2-3 years later, we've got a project. I go, dude, remember that guy who played this guy in that film? What was it about? Yeah, that was it. And there you go. And so now I know I want him. Okay.
Yeah.
But I also know the filmmaker and the director who got him to do the short.
Yeah.
Because this guy's pretty high digit and he came down to do their stuff. Okay. Can you get me in the back door? Because I don't want to go to his agent. I want to show him what he's got. And, dude, this is a role for you. Are you interested?
Yeah. Because, I mean, if you go directly through the agent.
Oh, dude, he's in there for 10%.
Yep.
And he's going to hem-haw on you and they're going to try to do all this other crap. But, we're trying to put a feature together.
Yeah.
And there's one particular actor that I'm talking about that I can't name names.
Of course,
like, But I go, dude, I need you for 3 weeks. I got 100 grand. Can you do it? You know what I mean?
Yep, I can do
Even though
that.
that's not anywhere near you normally get. This is a good role. You might want to consider it.
Yep.
Because, like, for me, when I got that guy, I can get two other guys and those two girls,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden we have the movie.
Yep.
So,
It's that packaging thing, Once you can get
oh,
one,
yeah.
you can get a couple more, and it
Yep.
snowballs up until you got a movie.
Or the other
Um,
way around, you lose one, then you lose the next four. So,
yeah.
I've been on that end of the equation.
So one part of that I would love to talk to you about is the one of the things that you generally produce is short films. What's the market like for short films? Is there a market, like a market past film
You know
festivals for
what? My
shorts?
opinion on that is what we're doing is not trying to sell the short films.
Okay.
Each one of those is actually a proof of concept for something bigger.
Okay.
Okay, this is what I can do with no money. Give me a flipping budget and let's expand this and make it what it's supposed to be.
Okay. So is that so now as we bring that conversation to the next part, like logical part. So you've attended AFM multiple times, the American Film Market. So is that what you're doing? You're taking the shorts usually to there and saying, okay, this is what I've produced, this is what I've worked on. Let's try
Well,
to get something else
basically,
going.
when I go up there, I've learned I set up shop at the Viceroy,
Mm-hmm.
which is right across the street. I have met more people there and pitched more crap there than at the actual market itself. That is like the breeding ground, but you have to have the pass, all access to go places,
Right.
So that's like the catch 22. But if I can get them interested off the postcard and the elevator pitch, then I flip out the play card and I give them the 3 minute pitch. And if they're still interested, I start showing them movies.
Okay. How many people do you think at like an average AFM per day, like that you talk to? How yeah. How
Okay,
many people do
so
you say you talk to?
we talked before that actually I'm an introvert and
Yeah.
around people I rather be hiding in the effing corner,
Yeah.
right? But I got it figured out, and I basically go into character as a guerrilla producer. It's not really me; it's a character I play.
Yep.
Won't tell anybody this, but I mean, it's just like I put all that behind me, and if somebody gives me, I just go after them. I
Yeah.
mean, not being aggressive or anything,
Right.
but I'm out front. And I bring my partner Angel with me, and she's also an introvert. But for somehow, when we're together, either she's bringing people, I'm bringing in people, or we're bringing in people, and we're able to work the crowd. It is actually. I'm glad when it's over. Put it that
Yeah.
way, but I can do it.
Yeah. As
You
as
know.
yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm a lot of I like the idea of, like you said, like you're playing a character. I kind of feel like I do the same thing. I show up and
You
I kind of
have to.
always look the same way, and I'm like a cartoon character in that way in what I do. But I will tell you that, like, I have a social battery, and once that battery is drained, I am done for the foreseeable future. And it's this year is going to be a really big test of that for multiple reasons. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how if I can kind of keep up with it. I just re-upped my gym membership so I
Oh,
can
there you
like
go.
get into fighting form for this stuff again. So being back out in public and all that kind of stuff. You want to feel confident in what you do, and then and no matter
So,
what.
Nick, I was just thinking about something. Do you know that you were the first one to ever interview me on the red carpet when we had All Things Hidden going up in LA live, First
Yes.
Class Film Festival? And I had never done that before. And like I couldn't talk, I couldn't think, I didn't do anything. And you're kind of smoothing me through it. But I realized I'm getting butterflies, for no reason whatsoever.
Yep.
And so I ended up taking a class. I go, I got to learn how to do that. And there's actually how you do that stuff and how you pose for cameras and all that kind of shit. And so now it's a natural. I just get in a character as a guerrilla producer and I just get out in front and do it, you
Yeah.
know.
No, and
And I'm glad when it's over, by
I
the way.
get that so often from other filmmakers where there's like, oh, I've never done this before, and I'm like, oh, I love me a festival virgin. Come with daddy.
Yeah.
Like,
No, you worked me through it pretty good.
yeah, no, I've been doing this now for this year would be 16 years, and
Oh, there you go.
I know, right? Time flies. Because I remember LA Live was like, okay, I was living in LA, so it had to be again been like somewhere between 2012 to 2015. So
I want to say it was 2015.
yeah, probably, yeah. I think I lived in LA longer than that, but because I know I did a total of 6 years there. But anyway, the whole thing is, yeah, it was. I'm always running into people where it's their first time and it's they don't know, they haven't mastered yet like the pitch, because everyone says like, if when you go to promote your movie, just have like one or two things that you already have like pre-planned that you say like at every
Well, you know what? They have classes in that too,
Yep.
and that is an art form.
Yeah.
And when you're doing the pitch, you gotta who it is, and if it's like a money guy, you better get it done in 30 seconds down that elevator. And if he likes it, he'll go, call Melissa, see if you can set something up for Tuesday.
Yeah.
But if they like that, they go, come out here and let's have a cocktail and talk about it.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
you
you
give them the
always know
bigger
you're on
pitch.
the right track when they invite you out to a secondary location.
Oh no, exactly. Pull you off to the lobby.
Yep. I have a section in my book about that where I talk about like don't waste the CEO's time. Like don't just like whatever you're gonna do, like just keep it short. Practice it ahead of time, but also leave it as like what's in it for them. Like you like move your feature benefit statements up to the front. Then kind of close as early as you can on it, and don't forget to ask for the sale at the end. I've watched people go for like, well, I have a 52 slide presentation for this. I'm like, nope, that guy's ducking out at slide 20 if you're not lucky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
And
it.
that's a
I've
whole
seen it
nother
happen.
art form right there.
Yeah, I've seen it happen in the past 2 years. I mean, I was literally watching someone going through a presentation where they were pitching something to a CEO for business, and it did not go well. And it's not that person was not qualified. It's not that their pitch actually was. The pitch wasn't good. The product was good. The service was good, but
Correct.
it just the pitch was not succinct enough, and that makes all the difference. It really does. Yeah, and what is so? I mean, I know we talked about being like kind of introverted when it comes to that, and obviously, like when you're going to make the deal, like the business side of it, there's you kind of have to put yourself forward, and yeah, however you got to do it, you get it done. But what's the at the FM? What is the social situation like? Is it more? Is there like socializing as well outside of that, or is it mostly just people like just trying to close that sale?
Well, you're talking about the money guys?
I'm talking about everyone. I mean, you show up, you got your pass, and is it kind of like is there a more of like almost like a film festival vibe where it's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna go and we're gonna do these pitches and stuff, and then later on, a bunch of us are gonna go out and get drinks, like and it's more social.
Oh, okay. So we're back to AFM. Yes. What goes on up there is what I do is I target certain companies, set it up ahead of time, take the meeting, tell them what I'm doing. But a lot of them, they're not looking what you're selling. You got to find the right mix. But through there's a lot of times where they would go, Nick isn't interesting, but let me introduce you to Edward. And they would drive me down the hall, and then I would talk to Edward,
Okay.
And there's a lot of that going on too. But going back, I have met more people and pitched more people at the Viceroy in between the market than anywhere else. I figured that one out about 5 years ago by accident. And I'm going, oh my God, look at all these people around here. And a lot of Europeans and with finance connections. a lot of Israelis with finance.
You know,
So,
do you ever, is it customary, I should say, maybe you don't have to ask, put your personal spin on it, but is it customary kind of to kind of worry at all about where the money is coming from for some of these
always,
things? Yeah? Okay.
always, always.
Okay.
And especially on our level, because some of the money is not quite, might be in the gray range,
Right.
tilting on black. And I can give you a story from 2012.
Oh, wow.
We were going to do we were going to do a feature and got everything lined up, everything ready to go. Guy cuts me a check. Okay, a broker salesman dude sets me up to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's in there looking for his 5% or 6%
Right.
or whatever it was going to get. This dude cuts me a check for $1.5 million.
Wow.
Seems legit, right? Everything is legit. But my spider sensors, there's something, I was picking up something wasn't quite right here.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I go and drop it in my bank, and they said, dude, this one's going to take 5 days to clear. And I go, understand.
Yeah.
Salesman guys calling me every hour on the hour for a 6%. I go, dude, check clears, you're clear.
Yep.
So just hold your horses here. Check bounced.
Ooh.
And okay, so then all my stars I had, like everyone's dropping like dominoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 months later, he was one of these guys that got connected in this big international drug money laundering, some kind of carry on. And my guy, the guy who cut me that check was involved somehow.
Wow.
So that's my claim to fame.
That's been, I mean, hey, that's,
The check
you're not
clears, you're
only making
paid.
movies,
Otherwise,
but you're
no.
fighting crime.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic. So, have you had the pleasure yet of taking any of your movies overseas and done anything over there?
Not yet, but we really like to. And hopefully with the OSSAN, somebody will pick us up over there.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
It's visually speaking, it doesn't necessarily need to be an English speaking type of situation. I think it's really, I mean, that's a movie that actually could play as a silent film if it really wanted to.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, like or like title carded. You know what I mean? Like old school style. Like you totally could do that. Because I think part of it is because the acting is very broad and not in a negative way at all. I mean, it's just that the actors and actresses are very expressive, so you can really tell what's going on without necessarily having to deal with what they're saying. So that's good. And here I'm tiptoeing a lot because I don't want to give away the movie because
Right.
it's a really it's got an interesting kind of thing to it. I would love to. I'd love to see how that would play overseas. I'm looking forward to doing some traveling with that. I think that that'll be really good. I can't mention the film festivals that I'm talking to because I don't want to say anything before anything's confirmed. But
Right.
we were talking ahead of time, and so before the show, and there's some really good opportunities out there, and also great ways to connect with new audiences. So I gotta ask you got a feature that you're gonna work on anytime soon, or is this is this the dream after you kind of sell some of these other projects, or what's
No,
the...
funny you should ask. I got to get my notes here.
Let's get the notes.
Okay, so right now, I'm working on putting together a feature called The Deception of Catherine Vask.
Oh,
and and then we would describe that as a paranormal suspense thriller. And the our screenplay is based off of a award-winning stage play by Mark Steenland, and that is playing across the country right now in little theaters. I'm not a theater guy, so I don't know.
Gotcha.
And So originally he sent it to us, sent it to me, and they go, this might be right up your alley, you and Vanita. And I read it and it was brilliant. And I'm thinking, okay, dude, one location, we can shoot this 12 Angry Men, continuous shot and all this. I can do this for 300 grand, ultra low budget.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pick this up, and took out an option on it because very good dialogue, very good characters, very good twists and turns and
Yeah.
everything. So Vanita read it and she's like going around with it and she goes, Calvin, I want to make this more cinematic. And I go, well, what do you mean, young lady? And so over the period of the last 2 years, we blew this thing big. We took it out of the one room, one location place, and we brought in the surrounding territory. And actually, I'm quite pleased on what we came up with. I actually dusted off the ink and pen and started writing again
That's awesome.
because I kind of gave that up about 20 years ago.
Wow. Is I mean, obviously, when you're producing and you're doing it, relatively successfully, I mean, I guess one of those things has to kind of take precedence. So I get that. I mean, the time that I finally had to do any type of writing, first of all, they had to put a contract in my hand for me to commit. So there was that for the book. But even before that, it was like a lot during the pandemic. That was when I was like, I was like the dude in the Twilight Zone. I'm like, there's time now.
No, exactly.
So I was able to, that's when I was able to pick stuff up because it's weird. The more this even happened back when I first was starting Film Snobbery, like right around like 2011, we were growing really big. We were getting bigger, and I had to bring on more writers and more writers. And that was great because we had all these different voices that were working with us on the site and all that. And I love that. I hope we get back to that at some point. But the thing that happened was that I spent less time writing reviews and more time doing the marketing and doing the shows like this and doing the festivals and all this other stuff. So I stopped writing for years. And then, and obviously when I moved to LA, it was all about, kind of doing the festivals and doing, the live shows, here and then obviously my day job, which, working at the studios. So I get it on that kind of level of like, when you finally get to like pick it up again, number one, it's like, can I still do this? And second, it's just this fun, kind of thing of like, I can't, like, you start to remember why you enjoyed it so much. And how much you missed it. Like you get nostalgic for it.
Well, the problem that I have is when I write, I got to put my analytical brain away.
Yeah.
And I have to get kind of manic, in a weird way. And when I write, I can't have my day job. So, like, if I can finish one project, I got 3 weeks before the new project starts. Okay, I can go psycho killer.
Yeah.
And when I do that, I write like from 10 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night to 5 o'clock in the morning. And then when I wake up, I'll rewrite what I just wrote.
Right.
So you already have a second draft when you finish. But dude, I cannot do my day job and get that way.
Yeah.
So it just took to come up with what we came up with now. It just took way longer than I anticipated, but it's like, dude, I can't go nutso and then go into the corporate world and try to earn my money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. Imagine, you say you're writing something about a serial killer or something like that, and you're invested in this world that you're
were writing about exorcism.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, oh crap, I got a meeting about bullshit in 10 minutes.
Gonna happen.
Like how can you can't just switch your brain like that? Like that's in the back there somewhere, and that's gonna come out at the wrong time.
Yeah,
that's funny. So I was talking about earlier, and you know, you mentioned, you said, hey, make sure you make me tell this story. I mentioned earlier about like traveling and stuff like that, and I was thinking about like, oh, it would be great to be able to hop from here to here or something like that. And you said, you know where you have to go? You have to go to Germany.
Exactly.
And I would love for you to tell me the story about why Germany is the place to be at this point for film and
Okay.
filmmaking.
So back up at AFM, we're at the Viceroy, and they had the smoking area was like way away from the doors, around the corner in this little cubbyhole thing.
Right.
And I'd been going there for so long, I knew exactly where it was. But this year, for whatever reason, there was half a dozen high-powered German producers. I'm guessing anywhere between 30 and 40 years old. That's the age bracket.
Mm-hmm.
I've been told I smoke a lot, and I just smoke like a pack a day. These young ladies, swear to God, they smoke 2-3 packs a day, talk, hold a conversation on the phone, going back and forth and just going. And it was just, I was just blown away. But that's in Germany right now with film and all that. They're the power brokers right there. And I met them all over a cigarette over the course of a week.
Yeah, making those marks is what they're doing, right?
No,
like,
it was great. And they were so nice, but they were all
executing on those
business.
euros.
I'll tell you that right now. They were all business. They were power women. They were on their game.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can imagine too. They come all this way, you know, like they don't want to waste time, and you know. Yeah.
No, they have a week to work it. You know.
So,
but like the other thing I was telling you, so when they would fold into the bar,
yep.
they were doing the same thing, only with an old fashioned, no cigarette, but still going. And they had so much energy, and it was like I grown to like them.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And you know, there's a ton of international film. I've been watching a lot of movies lately from like not so much as Germany, but I've been watching a lot of movies lately from Norway and Sweden.
Oh yeah. They've got a bunch of product coming out.
Yeah,
and it's good.
Yeah, I just did some interviews for the folks at Slamdance for that, and for some movies, and yeah, it was 2 of them of the 7 I think I did were from Norway, and the cinematographer for one of them was from Sweden. It was really interesting to kind of see what their stuff. One of the questions I asked them was, were you nervous about taking it? One of them was like a musical comedy, and it was like, were you interested? Was it going to be weird for you to come to the United States and play this here, thinking like maybe we won't get it because our sense of humor is definitely not the same as European? It was like, yeah, there was some concern.
Well, that's the same thing with British humor.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of people don't get it, but if you get it, oh my God, they're killing me.
Yeah. That's what my wife and I primarily watch at home. Is we watch British panel shows, and there was a comedian on one of them on 8 out of 10 Cats years ago, Reginald D. Hunter. He was talking about the difference because he's American, but he lives in the UK and works in the UK. And he was talking about like the difference in humor audiences between the US and the UK. Is like in the UK you can be clever, and UK audiences appreciate that. US audiences don't appreciate clever. They want the joke. You know, like they just want the setup. They want the punchline.
You go way back in the day.
Yeah.
Monty Python.
Yeah.
Okay. Most of the people didn't get it.
Yep.
But the ones that did, you could start a line and finish the line and go like you could do the whole show. If you were a Monty Python fan, you got it. Yep. You know what I mean?
I just introduced my wife to that not a couple of years ago. She was not really. She looked at a lot of that kind of stuff as like, and I get it. It's literally called absurdist humor, and so her thing is like, oh, that's stupid, and I'm like, have you seen it? Which is of course like what every person who's like, oh, that's dumb, that's stupid. Have you seen it? No. Okay, well now you have to. Like,
oh, you should introduce her to Faulty Towers.
Oh, she's seen it.
John Cleese. Yeah, that's a brilliant show.
I was brought up with that when I was a kid. My grandfather had me watch it because he had it on VHS tape, and
right.
Yeah,
Back
and
in the day.
yep. Yeah, and so that one's near and dear to my heart because it makes me think of my time with him. So that's my that's my Faulty Towers is my comfort food. Um, yeah, so that yeah. So let's see. We talked a little bit about the AFM. We talked a little bit about the OSSAN and everything that's going on with that and
Oh, I forgot to tell you, we just got word we're going to be in Horror Hound in March sometime.
whoa, that's gonna
So
be
that's
fun.
three. We got three in the next 2 months.
That's great. What wait, where so Horror Hound? Where are the other ones?
Well, we're going to be Austin Revolution
Yep.
here in 3 weeks. And then we're going to Idlewild
Oh,
and
Idlewild.
then Horror Hound.
That's right. We
And
were talking about Idlewild off camera. That's why, or
yeah,
off.
exactly.
Yeah, so that's why I forgot about that one.
So
Idlewild's gonna
anybody
be
in
fun.
LA that doesn't know, Idlewild is up in the mountains south of Palm Springs. It's only 2 hours out. So
Yep.
come on out and support us. We're playing Saturday. Where's my notes? The 9th? March
Is
9th,
is that what
3
it is?
9.
I have to look. Hold on. My calendar here. March. Yeah, 9. Well, 9th would be Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 9, and we'll be up at Idlewild. And it's only 2 hours out of LA up in the mountains, and it's really cool. So
It
come
really
out.
is. If you're a someone from like L.A. or Palm Springs or like or the Orange County or something like that, and you have always wanted to go to like Vermont, right?
Oh yeah.
Just go to Idlewild because it's the same. It's like
Oh
going to
yeah,
Vermont.
yeah. No, yeah.
I
Well, I someone wanted me to describe it the other day, and I go, it's like Big Bear without the lake.
Yeah, yeah. I remember driving. I remember I was homesick, and I was and I'd gotten invited to go to Idlewild, and I was like, I'll go. It sounds good. And I'm going up through the mountain and stuff. And as it slowly becomes more like New England, I was like,
Right.
I'm home. This is great. This
Yeah.
is only a couple
No,
hours
exactly.
away. This is fantastic, and it's they had some the festival itself was really welcoming. I really had a great time there. The food was. See, here's the thing. The first time I went for the festival, the food was good. The last time I went, when I took my wife, I think we were dating at the time. I don't know if we were married yet, but we'll just say my wife. We went again just to kind of like visit, and I don't remember the food was being great. But one thing I did remember is to them saying that there is a barbecue truck or some kind of thing that pops around there. So I hope that's still a thing because I didn't
Food
get a
truck.
chance to
Yeah.
try that.
How long ago was that?
Oh, geez.
Five
Well,
years or longer?
yeah. I mean, we're talking 2000. Yeah, this was like 2000. If I'm dating my wife at this point, let's say 2014, 2015.
Right. They've upped their game from there.
Love it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a nice little town. It doesn't feel like your typical like tourist town.
Well, you would have no idea you're in California.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
LA.
yeah.
You
It's
know.
it's like one of those things where like again, if you're in California, you like going to small towns or whatever. Like there's like you can always go to like Solvang or you go to Palm Springs or you go to all these
Right.
small things, but like Idlewild really does feel like you went through like a Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, C.S. Lewis kind of thing, to this wooded kind of like again like
Well,
more
not
very
only
much
that,
more New England.
it's actually there's only really two ways to get there, either
Yeah.
south from Palm Springs or north and east a little bit from Hemet.
Yep.
You're either going up the highway this way or that way.
Yep.
And you know that that keeps it quaint.
Yeah.
A lot of people won't drive it, but that's why you got what you got because people can't get there.
Yep. Well, you're going to be there, and you're going to have a good time because I enjoyed the theater there. I enjoyed the time and the people, so I think that'll be good. Horror Hound sounds like that'll be a fun one as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
that one's in Cincinnati, but in a northern suburb called Sharonsville. It's about 20 miles out.
I
And
I have good memories of Cincinnati. I had a friend of mine that used to run a film festival out of Cincinnati, and she had me out, and I remember specifically seeing the old the train station there, which was the Hall of Justice for
right.
for for the Super Friends, like as it was, or in DC Comics, that was what they modeled it after, is the Cincinnati train station.
No, exactly. And actually, but Cincinnati, if you look at their bridges and the stuff like that, and where they're going down through tunnels, overpasses to get where you're going to get through the city,
Yep.
there's some really cool looking film locations there.
Yeah.
When I was just out there for Nightmares, I actually flew into Cincinnati, got a car, and drove up to Columbus. And as I'm driving through Columbus at Cincinnati, 5:36 in the morning,
Yep.
sun's starting to come up, it's casting shadows, and I'm up the window. I go, dude, this would be excellent location right here. Look at that bridge. Look at that building. Look at the way that lights up all the way through town. It was actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that's something kind of unique to the folks here in the film industry, is that you can't go to anywhere that's not interesting, especially around like like magic time, so to speak, or golden hour,
Right,
or something
exactly.
like that. And you can't look at any of those things without going like, I got to get that on film. Like
Yeah.
that would be a great shot, or something
Or
like that.
you pull over. Let me get a picture of this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Where am I? The mile marker. Like,
Yeah.
you definitely check the whole thing
It
out.
might not work now, but it will in a future project. You can just, as you go through stuff like that, urban that's going out to suburban,
Yep.
you can see stuff that go, oh my God, that would excellent. Not now, another time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So let's see. We've covered the AFM. We covered some. Let's talk about is there anything that you've been seeing? Because you and I are online a lot. Like we are.
We are.
Yeah, where we primarily know each other from is obviously I've interviewed you before, and I'm familiar with your movies. But where we primarily interact is like what the artist formerly known as Twitter. So my question to you is, like, what have you been seeing lately in our industry that to you is something that it's like we need to fix this, or hey, this is something that is interesting that's been cropping up. You've been seeing it more and more, or like obviously, like we were talking a little bit before about there was that big lengthy document that came out or article that came out from Dear Producer following Sundance, and they were talking about how Sundance needs to get out of Park City for as part of the year at the very least, or expand outside of that because it's ruining other aspects of being in Park City.
It's too big.
It's too big, yeah. Have you seen, or is there anything on your radar about that you or about the industry that you'd like to talk about?
Well, actually, I'd like to put it on somebody's radar.
Sure.
It's like, well, Sundance, like, dude, I don't have $20 million to compete with my $3 million film.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, duh, what do you think? And I think they've gone too high end. And my opinion on independent film, a feature, if you can make it $5 million or less, I'll even go 8 if there's some bigger shit in there.
Yeah.
But 8 million or less, show me what you got. That's where the real talent is. That's your stories, that's your actors, that's your directors. And no, we can't afford 3 days with the techno crane. What else can we do to get around it, to get that same shot and to make it look like we used the $20,000 fucking rental?
Like,
you know what I mean?
I absolutely get that we're not in the 90s anymore in terms of like prices, right? Like shit just costs more money now. But I mean, I still think that I remember when with Sundance, even if you adjust for inflation, right? Clerks, Reservoir Dogs, Sex, Lies, and Videotape, Go Fish.
That was the 90s.
This was the 90s.
They had their place in the 90s, and then they got too big.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I'm looking at you look at the budgets of those films, and El Mariachi and all these other things. These were not $10 million films. These were, some of them, under $1 million total.
Well, Reservoir Dogs was 1.5.
1.5, yeah.
And that was basically everything you were seeing there was at that range.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's reasonable. I mean, when you talk about like independent film, right? Like completely independent, finance, whatever, blah blah blah. I think that having that somewhat cap. But now, yeah, you adjust for inflation. Okay, five. I'll give you your 5 to 8 million. But like, I think that there's just there's too much Hollywood at a festival that calls itself an independent film festival.
Oh, it's all Hollywood, dude.
Yeah.
It's all Hollywood.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it. That's where the money is. And actually, the Dear Producer people made a fantastic point. They said that the brands have taken over Main Street. It's all brand activations. There's no room for an independent film or filmmaker to whatever. There was one filmmaker that was even talking about it when she went to Sundance. She didn't say the year, so I'm going to say probably within the last 8 years, right? She could not get into her. She was the director of a film there. Could not even get into her own party. Literally, the bouncer bounced her out.
Oh, exactly.
Of her own party in favor of some Hollywood douches and his entourage going in. I'm like, yep,
Exactly.
that sounds very much. But it's yeah. I mean, and then
It shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, and then conversely,
You should make that guy wait as we all come in. Okay, there's three of you. 1, 2, 3, and bring them in.
That's the. I mean, it's that Sundance in this time at any film festival is. This is the filmmaker's time to shine. They put in the work. They put in the effort. They've been accepted. They've paid the money. That's the other thing. You've paid the money already to be there. You've paid your cover charge. You should be allowed in. And then, we were talking a little bit about the idea too of like, while Sundance has gotten too big, Slamdance could stand to get bigger. I actually would almost love to see
that up,
Slamdance.
and you know what? I didn't even think about that, and I think you're dead on right.
Yeah.
They really could. They could up their game, and I think people would glom onto it.
I think so. I mean, one of the things that, like, again, the Dear Producer folks were saying is they floated the idea of doing a road show type of model or something like that. I think that works a little bit better with something like Slamdance. And I know that they did something. Actually, I have it right here. They did a Slamdance on the road, Austin, Texas presents thing down at the Paramount Theater. This was, I don't know the year, but I think it was 2012 or something like that, maybe 2013. I have a something on my wall. Let's see. I'll even go crazy here and see if I can. There it is.
Oh, there you go. Got it.
Yep. So, here we go. I gotta recenter everything. All right. But yeah, they I think they've done some limited stuff with that. But I think that with a larger push to some major cities, I think Austin. Maybe take that one off the table because I think there's so much stuff that happens in Austin already. Austin Film Festival,
they're almost
South by.
saturated, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I
between
think
South by Southwest and Austin Film Festival, and then these better festivals, that are more genre related, like Austin Revolution.
Yeah,
I think they're tapped out. I'm not sure we would go there.
Yeah. But and that leaves the other options as well. Is like maybe partner with some other festivals, or maybe try to find some independent theaters that are could use a little bit extra promotion or something like that, and try to make a deal with them or something. I think that maybe you don't go to Austin, right? But maybe you go to San Antonio, or
right.
Or you don't go to Santa Fe, but maybe you go to Albuquerque, or like I feel like I think that there's other places that you can go to these things that aren't going to like disrupt what is happening with the rest of the year with some of these other festivals, but like you can still draw a crowd. But I mean, I think that whether or not it's something like Slamdance or something like Sundance, I think that there's definitely going to be a I think that eventually what's going to happen is that the town itself, like the people who live there year round, are eventually going to they're going to end up voting them out at some point.
Oh, exactly.
And they've had that conversation with in San Diego with the Comic-Con for that comes up every couple of years where they talk about how Comic-Con's gotten too big.
Well, it's gotten out of control.
Yeah,
because I went to the original one and the next 4. And it used to be really cool. Now, it's turned into what it is.
Well,
You know?
it's the hotels, and it's the convention center, and it's the Gaslight District, and it's like
And
it's
it's Hollywood, big
yeah.
budget Hollywood.
I do like that last year. I think it was last year and the year before. Like they kind of pulled back on that. A lot of that was due to the pandemic and people spending, and I think because Marvel kind of created their own thing for a little bit. DC created their own little event for a little bit and stuff like that. So I feel like there was a little bit of pullback from that Disney because they had Star Wars and all that. They pulled back to their own Disney celebration and all that. So I feel like we got a little bit of a reprieve for that. But yeah, I agree with you. I've spoken at San Diego on a couple of panels a couple of times, and I've done stuff there, and I love the experience. I love the people, but Jesus, it is too packed, and you're right. It's just there's too much.
Too big.
Yeah, too big. And there's also a lot of gatekeeping that happens along with that. Like
there's all kinds of gatekeeping.
Yeah. But that said, like I love a good festival. I love a good opportunity to get things out there, show movies to people and stuff like that. I was just talking with someone who runs all the marketing and promotion for. I think not a co-owner, but like a co-manager of my local comic book store, which is my favorite comic book store in the whole wide world. I'll plug it. It's called That's Entertainment. I've been going there my entire life. It is one of the biggest comic stores I've ever seen in my life. It's literally a warehouse, and they just bought the store next to them that was going out of business. So now they're expanding out to a whole other event space with other stuff, and I'm like, I want to screen some movies. And they're like,
where's this at?
It's right here in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Oh, there you go.
So I said, I want to screen some movies. And they said, we're interested in you doing that. So I just reached out not too long ago. So hopefully,
keep on them.
Yeah, hopefully we can bring back the old FilmSnobbery Live, like we used to do a screening series back in the day in Danbury, Connecticut, at this theater called the Palace Theater, which was a great location. But the only problem is that it's Danbury, Connecticut. Nothing against Danbury as a town. It's actually really cool, but it's a pain in the ass for everyone to get to. Worcester at least has like our local scene and stuff like that. It's not too far from Boston if people want to come in from around, filmmakers that are in the New England area. I would love to get back to being able to show movies to people again, because that was something I really enjoyed. It was my favorite job I had in LA when I worked at Raleigh Studios.
There you go.
When I worked there and I was in charge of their screening rooms and post-production and all that kind of stuff, I was like, I get to show movies every day. That's my job. I'm in. So
exactly.
I miss being able to do it, because I used to be able to do it for my friends too. It's a studio lot, fantastic screening rooms and stuff like that. Being able to give a discount to, independent filmmakers and friends and stuff like that. That used to be how I felt like I was contributing value to our film community. So
exactly.
Yeah, so I definitely want to get back to doing that stuff again. I think that would be great. That said, sir, like we've chatted for our hour, so
we burned up 60 minutes here, and coming in, I was all concerned about what we're going to talk about, but it was almost like me and you were just sitting at the bar having a conversation.
That's how it is. And I'm sure I talked way more than I should have.
I like that.
But yeah, no, I appreciate it. But it's always good to have you on, and really always good to chat with you. Obviously, come back anytime, and good luck with the OSSAN out on the festival circuit. We'll see you definitely around there over the course of the year. Hopefully, we'll run into each other at a festival or two.
We will.
Yeah, because that's just how it is. So we'll get another interview with you. 2, 3, 4, 5 interviews.
But on my way out, I want to promote myself on social media, or my other people will kill me. Yep. Guerrilla Producer on Twitter X and Instagram, and follow me. I'll follow you back.
Absolutely, and I want to say thank you to the people who did join us in the chat room tonight. Not a ton of actual chat, but that's only because, well, we didn't really do anything to promote
Yeah,
that
we
part.
didn't
So-
really put it out there for anybody.
But you know what though? For the people that are watching, I really appreciate it. Obviously, you can always watch the replay of this. Usually we come out on Friday, so today's Thursday. It'll come out tomorrow. You can check that out over on FilmSnobbery.com. Please also check out our other podcast that we host over on Film Snobbery called Bolded Slugs, hosted by Zeus Ryan. They always have some cool guests on that. That's for our screenwriting folks. I would say, definitely keep an eye on what we're up to over on Film Snobbery for reviews, interviews, stuff like that. We actually recently found a little treasure trove of old interviews and content that I thought were lost. So I'm in the process of
There you go.
Yeah, like redoing those and re-releasing them. What was old will be new again, and so that'll be really fun. And I hope that everyone who did go to Sundance and Slamdance has a safe ride home, whether it's planes, trains, or automobiles. I hope everything's good. And check me out on the X Twitter, on Twix. At Film Snobbery. You can also find me over on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. Please like it. It's Film Snobbery as well. You can find us on YouTube. Just search for Film Snobbery. I hate the way that they do. I think we're like at Film Snob or something like that on YouTube now. And of course Instagram, film_snobbery, because some dick fucking took the other one. So so that one's going to be us. But I want to thank my guest Calvin Vanderbeek for coming on the show this week, and I want to thank everyone who decided to chill out and watch with us. And we will see you again next week, where our guest is going to be, I believe, I'm buying for time, I'm vamping, I'm pretty sure it's going to be, I think it's Ira Deutschman, right? Am I right? Yes, I was right. Our guest over February 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific is going to be Ira Deutschman. If you guys are not familiar with Ira, he is the former head of Emerging Pictures and I believe the chairman emeritus of the film program over at Columbia University. So this guy's been around, he's seen some shit, and we are going to get the lowdown on all that. And I know he was at Sundance, so we're going to get some ideas on some feedback on his perspective of what happened there. So that said, everyone, thank you very much. Calvin, thank you. And I'd say good night.